Um, I can't hear you, Steve.
How about now?
There you go. Okay.
Welcome everyone to Superman Homepage Live, the Superman show brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our April 10th, 2023 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the Warner Brothers 100th anniversary. We're going to be talking about the teaser for My Adventures with Superman. We've got screenings of Superman the movie all over the place, and so much more to get through. And to let you know how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Doing well on yourself?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Just in a hurry tonight because there's just so much to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is the Superman homepage live, we want to hear from the Superman fans that are watching us right now across a variety of platforms, not just YouTube, but, we're there too. And if you want to get in on the action about halfway through the show, if things kind of slow down a little, we can take live callers. And how do you do that? Well, you go to supermanhomepage.com/live and press the call now button. You'll be let into the green room. You can watch the show as it's occurring, waiting for us to get in, let you in. If you are doing it that way, please, if you're using external speaker, mute that, because it's really hard for us to hear. Well, we're on a bit of delay, not us hard to hear. Never mind. We're on a bit of delay. I wish I had more of a delay so I could fix that. And that kind of can screw things up. Or you can take your fancy pants smartphone out, scan the QR code, and again, please wear like headphones or something if you're going to do that, because if you don't, it gets really weird.
Yes, and if you're too shy to get on the phone, then you can participate in the comments there, both on YouTube and Facebook. Michael and I keep an eye on that feed to react to your questions and comments as the show goes along. If you'd like your question or comment featured on the screen during the show, that's called a super chat on YouTube. All you have to do is click the dollar symbol. A slider will appear on your screen to decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate. We will feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support. If you'd like to join those folks and support the show, simply head to supermanhomepage.com/live. Sorry, just on there on YouTube, there's a join button. Click that. You can join in and become a member, or go to patreon.com/supermanhomepage. There are different levels of perks for different levels of membership with different levels of perks. We're all mixed up today. I think it's the Easter break. I don't know how many chocolates you had, Mike, but I had a lot of food. Not necessarily chocolates, but wow, was there a lot of food this weekend.
Didn't really, we didn't really do anything. Um, I usually have Sundays off, so it's not like I even got an extra day off. But we were closed, so I didn't get any calls from work, so that was kind of nice. Really, it was just. I'm going to be completely honest. I have been watching that diner scene over and over and over again. And when we get to talking about the show, I'll tell you about the first time I saw that, my initial reaction to it. But
cool.
We've got a lot of stuff to do before that.
Yes. All right. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Warner Brothers celebrating their 100th anniversary this year, and they put out a promo on April 4th about the show, the studio's 100th anniversary, and Superman featured both with Christopher Reeve and Man of Steel shot. Here's a bit of that. I don't know how much of it I can play, but have a look at this promo.
100 years ago, four brothers had a vision that changed storytelling forever.
Expecto Patronum!
We are the music makers. And we are the dreamers of dreams.
Celebrate the unforgettable moments that inspired the past 100 years. And witness the stories that will transform the next 100.
So that's a shortened version of the promo. There's a longer one where you get also a shot of Man of Steel, Henry Cavill's. But yeah, it's good to see that. Obviously, the superheroes feature pretty heavily with the Warner Brothers promo and celebrating their 100th anniversary, and great to see Christopher Reeve as Superman in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm feeling very cynical tonight, so I'm like, those brothers really didn't have anything to do with anything beyond a certain point. But yeah, I guess that's always how you have to start these things.
Yeah,
Um,
historically.
but yeah, even the Barbie trailer was in there, which was boy, that was surreal.
So yeah, congratulations to the DC Studios. Also, Disney celebrating their 100th anniversary at the same time. And these movies pretty much shape our lives when it comes to the entertainment that we've enjoyed over the years. And as I said, it's great to see the superheroes, including Superman, used in those promos. So that also mentioned at the top of the show that this week there's been, and continue to be throughout April, a lot of screenings of Superman the movie, which is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year, and Superman celebrates his 85th anniversary this year, and so a lot of film theaters and movie cinemas around the world are screening 45th anniversary celebrations of Superman the movie. I've seen a couple of people on social media posting them, photos of themselves with their tickets, or where they're sitting in the film theater ready to watch, or having watched Superman the movie. It's just awesome to see people enjoying that film back on the big screen again.
Yep, and a week and a day I'll be watching it as well, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. So I've got a screening of Superman the movie and Superman 2, the Donner Cut, back to back, happening at the Hayden Orpheum Picture Theatre here in Sydney in 2 weeks' time, and I'm hosting that, so I'm really looking forward to that event and catching up with some people who won the double passes from our giveaway. And John Patrick Van Pelt reminds us that HBO Max it's Warner Brothers, has a really nice collection of many of the old and new films over the years. They've produced 3 box sets of 100 films, and Superman the movie and Supergirl are both included in one of those box sets. So thank you for reminding us about that, John.
Yep, appreciate that.
All right, well, on the television side of things, a teaser came out for My Adventures with Superman, the new animated series, which we now know will be on Adult Swim rather than Cartoon Network, and will also then be on Toonami and on the Streamer app. What did you make of this little teaser, which I will show right now?
What was that?
Everybody get back!
Oh, no! Superman! Are you okay?
I am now.
I enjoyed it. It's a teaser, so it's just we mainly got to look at what Superman's going to look like. They ended with a shirt rip, which I always appreciate. I'm not completely sold on the S symbol.
Okay.
Little too much like another S symbol that is usually associated with bad things. But no, I'm sure it'll all go out in the wash. It looks like a lot of fun. It really does.
Yeah, it's very angular, the S symbol, as seen there in that graphic, which is one I've got behind me on my green screen today. But there are not a lot of curves in that. It's very much similar to like the electric Superman symbol and the one that Supergirl and some of the other family members are wearing in the comic books at the moment. I heard a lot of people, when you're trying to draw the S, you draw 2 little fish as the yellow spaces in the S shield. There is no fish in that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's it's very, I guess, alien in a way. It's very angular. It's obviously still representative of the S as we see it, but it's different. So, but I like the animation style, very anime. I like the character designs, and it's just great to have an animated series of Superman back on our screens again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm totally looking forward to this.
Yeah, so the teaser dropped, just letting us know that it's coming soon. We don't know when, we don't know exactly a premiere date, but it will be later this year on Adult Swim's late night primetime hours, and will then encore on Toonami and on the Streamer app, as I said. But we've got Jack Quaid as the voice of Superman, Alice Lee as the voice of Lois Lane, and many other cast members joining them. And I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be fun. It's already been ordered for 2 seasons, so we await a premiere date, and then we've got an animated series ready to enjoy, along with Superman and Lois, which is on our TV screens at the moment as well.
Yep.
So yeah, really looking forward to that. Hopefully the stories are as good as what we're seeing in the little teaser, and hopefully we get a full-on trailer coming down the line soon.
Yeah, I'm. The villain was kind of generic looking, so I'm looking forward to seeing who that is exactly, and all that. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be kid friendly, but not necessarily kidified. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think it will be kid friendly. I think it'll be family friendly as well. I like to describe these things that adults will get something out of it, and there'll be something for them to enjoy, and then something for kids as well that they can enjoy the action and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to something you've been dying to discuss, I'm sure, and that is the latest episode of Superman and Lois. It was titled Too Close to Home. There was so much to enjoy from this episode. Yes, we'll talk about the diner scene in a second, but there was something. It felt like every character got something substantial happen to them, or that they were involved in something substantial. Whether it was Kyle and Lana and their daughter Sarah, whether it was Chrissy Beppo, whether it was Lois, Superman, Clark, even the grandfather Sam Lane. And the twin boys each had something on their own that they were confronted with. Just everybody was there was, and even John Henry Irons had a very substantial element to his story added as well this week. So there was just a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, the Kyle, Lana, Sarah stuff was very well done. I kind of felt bad for Kyle because he kept getting kind of bounced back and forth between them. Like he hears that Lana slapped her and he's just like, well, I'm going to go take care of this. And then he hears why, not that he's saying that it was right, but what she said to set her off is like, well, that's not right either. And trying to make Peacemaker and trying to get things kind of controlled. I am completely and utterly convinced that John Henry's sister is part of everything. I think she accepted him being John from another universe very, very fast. And I know they're like, oh, like that other world we saw. It was just like, yeah, I'd still like you there's realizing something has happened, and then there's being like, like, oh, so other people from other Earths are coming to this reality, and her getting kidnapped. I think she's the person in the shifting facely hood thing, who everyone's calling onomatopoeia. John getting into the car was a little frightening.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, you really think, that's not going to go well. But it led to a really good scene with him and Bruno. So the villain got some time on screen. But you're right. Everybody just got something to do. And not just like it felt like it was like they were ticking off a box. Like all of these stories have been percolating, and Jonathan getting punched in the face because his truck got stolen. That was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, an adult punching a minor.
16-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly. And then Lois confronting him with the father, Candace's father, was pretty cool. And then he kind of pulls the gun on her or shows her his gun, and that got pretty full on there. And then we get to the diner scene that you've been dying to talk about, and I've watched it a couple of times myself now, and showed a couple of people who don't watch the show. and they were like, I liked Kyle's comment. Damn, Kent.
I'm watching this thing like this is a Brooder film. Let's just back and to the left. Because what happened is in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, sometimes I'll just kind of scroll through TikTok. By the way, this thing blew up on social media in a way I haven't seen this show happen. Like everyone in my bubble was talking about this, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching Clark walk in. I was like, okay, so he's confronting the guy. I have no real context from the episode, but he's confronting the guy. And when the dude stood up and he shoved Clark and nothing happened, and then Clark put him on the counter, I literally went, whoa! Like I was completely immersed until that happened. And as I've been watching it again and again and again, because it keeps popping up on my Twitter feed, it's just you gotta watch everybody in that scene, because Kyle seems to both be when Emmett, which is the dude's name, stands up. Kyle seems to be almost getting up to help Clark, but also kind of putting Sarah behind him.
Yeah,
like he doesn't want her to get hurt. And I just love that Lana puts her arm, his hand on her hand on his arms, no, this is gonna be okay. And we have the thing. Clark delivers his lines like a boss, lets the guy go, and next time you watch it, watch the dude that is eating right in front of him. There's a guy sitting at a table that's right in front of him, and he apologizes, and the guy literally goes, and then goes back to his food. This happens every night in Smallville. And the damn Kent was just basically at that moment, the entire town of Smallville was put on notice that you really don't want to piss off Clark Kent.
Now, two things. One, it reminded me both of Man of Steel and Superman 2, in that the shove was very much the same as Man of Steel, where that dude in that dino gets up to shove Clark and Clark doesn't budge. Same thing, very much reminiscent of that. And then the diner scene from Superman 2 with the bully there, and although it's not played for the same type of comedy as Superman 2, it's still very much a confrontation in a diner where Clark puts the bully in his place.
Somebody, I don't know if it was Rob or Alan from the All-Star Superfan podcast, actually put in the music from the diner scene in that, and it was kind of just a little funny juxtaposition. Yeah, I thought Man of Steel 2, not the sequel, but as well.
As well.
And the funny thing about that is that scene in Man of Steel always bugged me, because one, they cast an actor that's a foot shorter than Henry Cavill, or seems to be. It's this little dude. Like the moment he stood up, it should have gone completely different. And the fact that those two soldiers that are just sitting there, that are there basically to tell Clark that there's something going on with the ship, they don't do anything to this guy sexually harassing this waitress. They're okay with Clark being the only one to defend her. And I get that the point was he's been told all his life not to do anything, not to show his powers, and then he goes and trashes the guy's truck. But yeah, it had this is going to sound weird. It had almost the same sound effect of the glass of the dishes hitting the ground that Man of Steel had. It was really weird. But again, that's what this show is really good at kind of nodding to the past, but still going their own way. But I just can't believe, people that don't even watch the show were sharing the clip on social media. I don't know if the showrunners and all them were expecting that, but this is kind of some of the best free advertising the show could have gotten.
Definitely. And I love the way it ended. He just didn't walk out. Candace was like, did he really hurt Jonathan? And he's like, yes, I'm sorry you had to see that. And, can I go and check, and he takes care of her. He doesn't just leave her there to continue finish her time at the, her, doing her job at the diner. He's taking care of her and making sure she's all right. And then they take her in as far as she can live there if she feels the need to. And I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I think Emmett's very much a two-dimensional character. He's very much just there to be who he is. There's no, really, what adult would punch another person's 16-year-old kid? I don't care how bad they are. They know there's got to be ramifications for that. But I guess that's what they needed for this story, and so he is what he is.
Yeah, but the other two things that I love about the scene were, one, the nope. When he walks in, Lana's just like, "Is everything okay?" Nope. It's just like, and then Lois saying, "This isn't a job for Superman," and Clark going, "He's not going." It really solidified in my head what separates this version of Superman from any other that's been on television before. Is that while he is Superman and he has a certain responsibility to the entire world, so Superman wouldn't just go beat up a random guy. There is a division in his head with his family, and he, it's just it's not just that his kid got hit, which is terrible, but the guy, they say he pulled a gun. I know it's pedantic. He just flashed it. Yeah. I do like that she called off Jordan, because that could have gotten really ugly really fast. He's not ready for that. But I just like that. Clark was done at that point. It was just like,
that's it.
Of all the times to start something, when his wife has cancer, is not the time. This is just really bad timing on Emmett's part.
Exactly. Now we can't go. You mentioned Jordan and the fact that he had, that conversation with his grandfather Sam Lane in the car about, well, he was going to get his hair cut, and then that didn't happen. And I was thinking, geez, that's got to be a big move for this actor to go that. They seem to be his calling card. But what it did lead to was that he looks like he's going to be getting his own costume, and there was a touching moment with the goggles, if you like, as a mask or whatever, from his great grandfather now. Being handed down to him, but did that kind of lead you to think of this?
Yeah, that's actually really what I was thinking of. It really gave American Alien vibes to me of that kind of wearing goggles and all that. I'm going to be interested to see what the full suit looks like. Just to see what they come up with. I don't know if they'll give him a cape or not. And it looks like it's going to be all black because it's, he's still in training, so I guess it's a stealth suit. And it's just another action figure. So, when they give him another suit down the line, that'll be a figure. So
all right, well, let's go through some of the questions that John Patrick Van Pelt has thrown at us once again for this episode. He says, who is being more truthful, Jonathan Kent or Candace's father? Well, Jonathan knows that Candace's father, Emmett, stole his truck. He knows that Lois's watch, or the watch that was given to Lois, was found in his house, and it was left in the car. So there's no two ways about it. Emmett is the liar and the thief and the villain of that. Next,
and a drug dealer.
And a drug dealer to boot. Do you think it was right for Candace's father to slap Jonathan, or what do you think about Jordan not wanting to get a haircut? Well, he didn't slap him. He punched him. He full on had a closed fist and gave him a black eye. And it's never right to punch anybody, let alone somebody else's underage child. And Jordan not wanting to get a haircut, it makes sense to me. Teenagers, it's as Sam Lane said, their look and their appearance is so important to young people of that age.
Yeah, and let's point out the fact that, yeah, Jordan was out of line, but Sam, stop bringing people to places, bringing teenagers to places under false pretenses.
Yes.
Um, and I liked the fact that they went fishing afterwards, because if I'm remembering the first season, fishing wasn't something Jordan really liked when they were like younger, when he would take Jonathan and Jordan. So now that things are kind of different, it seems more of a bonding experience between the two of them. So that was kind of sweet. But yeah, Sam, come on, just
Be honest, up front.
yeah, exactly.
So when do you think we'll see Jordan in his new suit? Asks John.
1 or 2 episodes. I don't think they'll wait for the end of the season for this one. I think it'll be. I think it'll be earlier than that. It was really cool watching Superman and Jordan saving people in the forest fire, and that Superman felt comfortable leaving him there to kind of take care of things. So
John says,
I like that.
Fake fishing or real fishing?
That's probably real fishing.
Yes, thank you, John. All right, so we look ahead now to Head On, which is the 5th episode of Season 3, and a promo trailer was released for this. Let's have a look at the promo trailer for Head On.
This disease doesn't mean that you don't love the people in your life, but that feeling to give in gets to be so strong. Why am I so scared?
Love is scary. This is going to be the fight of your life.
So it looks like they're leaning more into the cancer story now, obviously with Lois having fainted or had a bit of a spell in the previous episode. We're now at the cancer center where treatment will start, and obviously they're going to get really into just how that's going to play out.
Yep, looks exciting.
And it says here, Clark and General Lane are both having a hard time giving Lois room to make her own decisions. Meanwhile, Lana and Sarah have a run-in with an old friend at the diner. Lastly, Natalie has a surprise visitor. A lot of run-ins at this diner.
Yeah, it's the social center of Smallville.
Yeah,
it's
indeed.
that diner.
Natalie having a surprise visitor. Is that her aunt, you think?
Probably. I'm willing to bet it's going to be her aunt.
Yeah, or this version of it. So, yeah, interesting. And then after that, the next episode, episode 6 of Season 3, is titled Of Sound Mind. And the description that we got for this episode reads, Clark, I was going to say Tyler, but Clark finds himself in uncharted territory and Lois bonds with a new friend. Meanwhile, Superman pays Bruno Mannheim a surprise visit. Lastly, Lana puts Sarah in charge while she's away at a meeting with Chrissy. Why are Lana and Chrissy away at a meeting?
Yeah.
Is it,
what's going to come up?
Yeah.
What subject is going to come up at that meeting?
Is it how to sleep with my ex-husband?
Mind the Gap points out that maybe the surprise visitor is Mateo.
Oh, the boyfriend,
the guy
or the possible new boyfriend.
The guy from the party who's probably going to end up being Bruno Mannheim's son.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Man, you are on the ball with these guesses and predictions.
Yeah, well, I'm right 50% of the time, so I've got in baseball that's a pretty good batting average.
Not bad at all. So yeah, interesting. And I'm guessing that the new friend that Lois bonds with is probably another cancer patient in the ward, the one that we see in that promo that we've just played not long ago. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what role she plays or who she's related to.
Yeah.
So they're the episodes we've got coming up of Superman and Lois. This is on April 25th, so it looks like on April 18th we might have a rerun or a break.
Okay.
So I don't see anything listed for April 18th. We've got one, obviously April 11th, and then we've got April 25th. So April 18th seems to be a skip week.
Yeah, 1 week is that's not unheard of at this point. I mean, they've done 5 episodes in a row at this point, which having kind of a breather week, because it's only 10 episodes this season, right? Or is it the 15?
Good question. You've stumped me on that one. I thought it might have been more than that.
I've stumped the crowd.
Maybe somebody in the comments will allude us to whether or not it is more than 10, but I was hoping it was 15. So
yeah, if it's 10 though, we're like halfway done
already.
And they finished this season quick, so
Yes.
or
Well,
what kind of felt like quick.
wait and see. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. We'll have to look into that. But yeah, so that's Superman and Lois, season 3, kicking along nicely. It just keeps getting better, this show, and I'm seeing lots of people jumping on board. And as you said, social media blew up with this past week's episode, especially with that diner sequence. So it's doing well, and it keeps on kicking on.
Yeah, that thing's going to live rent-free inside my head for the rest of my life.
And it wasn't
Well,
not bad timing for the DC shop to then post this t-shirt available. Now selling exclusively at the DC shop. Superman and Lois logo t-shirt, priced at $19.99 US and available in sizes small to 3XL. You can get yours through the DC shop, or you can find the link at our website. Just a logo, nothing beyond that, but that's still pretty cool. We've got some merchandise at least.
yeah, I'm not. I ordered another shirt from them, and I'm not very happy with the way the T-shirt is shaped.
Okay.
The sleeves, like the way the sleeves and the shoulders go, it feels it feels like those are very tiny compared to the rest of the shirt. So I'll be getting this sooner rather than later because I'd really like one. Yeah, I don't. It's basic. I think these things are print to order essentially. Instead of producing a bunch of shirts, it's kind of like a Zazzle or a Redbubble shop.
Yep.
Which is smarter for them. But sometimes the quality of those types of shirts aren't like super good.
No, it's true. Yeah, they do seem to have diminished quality for those kinds of things. All right, we're over the halfway mark of tonight's show. We're going to play a few messages, come back on the flip side to a little bit more on the TV side of things. Then we're going to do This Week in History and our fan favourite questions. So stand by for all those. Back right after this.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
I mean, it's not like I asked to be famous.
Yeah, well, it's the price you pay.
You sign a lot of autographs?
Oh, yeah, you?
Some. They ask me to bend stuff a lot.
I can see that. What?
It's Lois. She's in trouble.
Did you look through that building?
Well, kind of. It's glass.
Watch it.
Whoa.
Idiot.
Lois!
Superman, I've forgotten my wallet.
I can't carry money in this. I'm powerless. I'm not.
What's with the spinning?
He idolizes me. It's embarrassing.
My hero.
What's that? It's a huge comet hurtling perilously towards Earth. We're doomed!
I think you better get this one. You can do more with the American Express card.
Wait, could you? It's for my kid.
And we're back on Superman homepage live. The Seinfeld commercial, one of a few that they did. The original one for American Express with Jerry and Superman. Always good to look back at those.
I think I mentioned this before. It always bugs me in credit card commercials because they swipe it wrong.
Yeah, to show the logo.
Because the strip, to show the logo. I guess now that things are like the chip thing is now a little more popular in the United States. It's a little easier. But it's just like, yeah, go ahead and swipe that. It's not going to go through.
Very funny. And the spinning thing, I guess that really came along with Lois and Clark, really. I mean, Superman didn't do it too much before that.
Not really, no. I mean, it was a Wonder Woman thing more than a Superman thing in the 70s.
Yes.
And the only time he really did any kind of spinning was Superman the movie. Was that to get below ground? So,
or to go through the turnstile doors. He spun around in those, I guess. But I think maybe in the Superboy series he might have done a little bit, but especially in
I think he did a few times.
Yeah, but nevertheless,
yeah. No, I was about to say Lois and Clark was always about finding the cheapest way to have him change into Superman.
Throw the cape over the camera for the flying.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yes, Mike Zuma agrees. Superboy did the spinning once in a while. So, and Patrick Warburton voicing Superman. There you go. All right, let's move on to just quickly on the TV side of things before we wrap that up. Titans. The final episodes of the final series of the show are about to start airing. I think it's this Thursday on HBO Max, and they released a couple of character posters showing the duality of some of these characters, and there are two sides to every story. Connor is exploring the Lex Luthor side of his DNA. Obviously, a new haircut.
Yep, right out of the comics too. Very, very well done.
So there are a couple of the other characters who also have the duality posters, just with that right hand side or their left hand side kind of, I guess, melting away in some ways. So some interesting posters there. So Titans is the final episodes of Titans premiere this Thursday, April 13th, only on HBO Max. Another one for Smallville fans. Did we dodge a bullet or did we miss out on something? Zachary Levi, who obviously is now playing Shazam on the films and the sequel Fury of the Gods out in theaters now, told during a panel at Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, C2E2, told everyone on Friday, March 31st, that he originally auditioned to play Clark Kent in Smallville, but was knocked back for that, and then they told him to come in and try out for Lex Luthor, and he got all the way to doing test screenings or test auditions for executives, and then next thing you knew, Michael Rosenbaum had won the role.
Yeah, he has a couple stories like that of roles he almost got. I think he was up for like Captain America as well. But yeah, I in nothing against Zachary Levi, I just think Rosenbaum was the right choice for that character.
For sure. For sure. I don't think anyone bemoans that choice. Zachary Levi is a great actor, and who knows what he would have been like, but yeah, Michael Rosenbaum, I think for many people is the epitome of what Lex Luthor should have been in Smallville, and so we didn't miss out on anything there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's the movie, TV side things. Let's get into our regular segments. We'll go with fan favourite segment because it's a short one this week for some reason. Now, our fan favourite questions over the last couple of weeks have been, what is your favourite scene from the different movies over the years? We went through all the Christopher Reeve films. We're starting on through the Henry Cavill. We did Brandon Routh's Superman Returns. Then we started with Man of Steel for Henry Cavill's films. And we've had so many responses for all of those films, which I think is a reflection of how well those films were received. And then we get to Batman v Superman, and we get one response. Is that indicative of something?
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. It's not that people probably don't have a favorite scene. It's just their apathy towards the film led them to not want to write in. It's just like they probably went. It's just like, nah, I got other things to do. But John Patrick Van Pelt did write in. He says the only favorite scene I like is when Batman and Superman are fighting each other. Which
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna complain about something. I mean, it's just, it's been what, 7 years since the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point in
going over
beating a dead horse at this point. I just think it's funny that Man of Steel got a bunch of responses, and all the Christopher Reeve films, even Superman Returns, got a bunch of responses. I mean, we were having record numbers of responses, and this one comes along, and it's just like, okay,
get it to a halt.
People, dun, 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 dun,
so actually, Mike Zumo comes up with a great concept that we can maybe go with after we finish this run of questions. Is what scene didn't you like in a movie? Because he says I could have written 1,000 words on what I didn't like about Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. But I guess that to go back to what John Patrick Van Pelt wrote, that was the whole premise of this film, was like, yo, let's get Superman and Batman to fight, and and that's what they wrote a movie around that.
Yeah, because I think in the original conception of it, they weren't going to be as antagonistic towards each other. In the if I'm remembering correctly, I don't know if he wrote like a full script, but Goyer was kicking around some things. And then they went with Chris Terrio, who had a completely different take on the material, and then Ben Affleck got involved. Or was it that Affleck got involved and then Terrio came on board? I really don't remember. But it's just one of those things where I am sure in 2036 there's going to be 5,000 think pieces on what a brilliant film it was. And the only reason I'm saying that is I'm starting to see a lot of people who are now getting into their 30s like really talking up Superman 4 and like being excited about things involving Superman 4, which would have been one of the movies they watched as a kid. So, there is no, it's kind of like the weather. If you don't like the response, just wait. It'll come around to what you want eventually.
Yeah, true. And I guess some people are praying for rain, and other people's, it spoils their day. So there's something there for everyone. Everyone's got their own tastes, and if you love it, great. More power to you. But let's push on to the next film, and I'm going to combine both theatrical cut and Zack Snyder's Justice League in this question and ask, what is your favourite scene from Justice League, be it the theatrical cut or Zack Snyder's Justice League? I'm not going to do them separately because while they are kind of separate in their own ways, they basically tell the same story in a different roundabout way. So what is your favourite scene from either version of Justice League? The email address is rolling across the bottom of your screen now, info@supermanhomepage.com. Send us your responses, send us your answers. We'll read them out and feature some images when we return to this segment next week. Hopefully we get more responses for this one.
We might. And then after that, we can do what's the better line. I like truth, but I'm also a really big fan of justice, or not impressed.
For an entry.
Which is actually a more nuanced conversation to have than anything involving Batman v Superman. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, so that's the fan favourite question for this week. Thank you to John Patrick Van Pelt for responding. Otherwise, we would have been pretty stuck for... I guess we could have discussed it. Do you have a favourite scene from Batman v Superman? If you were like, if it was like pulling teeth, if you had to give an answer.
No, it's just the thing with that movie is there isn't one sequence that I can look at and go, well, no, there is. I really like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne meeting at Luthor's party. I thought that was a really, like, the way there was the dancing they were having, and then Luthor and then Lex coming up and hitting him in the chest, and there's that sound effect, and he's like, this is a man you do not want to pick a fight with, and and then that coming back. It was just really enjoyable, because the one thing that I liked from Superman's end of that film is that, and I don't think they played with it enough. I think most of the emphasis was put on Batman hating Superman. Was Superman didn't like Batman. He thought he was abusing people's rights.
Yeah, well, he wrote a whole article about him that was rejected.
And so we never got that Superman seeing Batman's side of things like we did with Batman seeing Superman things. So yeah, that would be the one scene I would say that I really enjoyed. I think the rest of it is oppressively dour.
Yeah, I think the extended
in a
version,
way that it didn't need to be.
Yeah, I think the extended version is a better film for the exposition that it gives on what happened and why Superman is treated the way he is, and why the actions that he was portrayed to have made. But I guess for the symbolism, the death of Superman and bringing him down from that using his cape to bring him down, it was obviously very symbolic of them bringing down Jesus off the cross after his death, and the sacrifice and all that. That's pretty. I mean, for me, that was something that I enjoyed the symbolism of, but I didn't want them to kill him. I thought that was like, what, already? They just brought him in, like, yeah. So I didn't. Yeah. So that for me was probably, I enjoyed the symbolism.
Yeah. I will say though, the last time I watched that film, which was a couple years ago, I watched Man of Steel and the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman in leading up to watching Justice League, the Zack Snyder Justice League. And it was one of those things where I saw what he was going for. And this is the more, I don't want to say militant, because that's the wrong way to do. The more like extreme Snyder cultists tend to fall back on the you're not smart enough to understand what Zack Snyder's laying down and the genius of Zack Snyder. No, I saw what he was doing. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
and that's the thing is that I looked at it and I was just like, for people who like that, I think I see why they liked it. It was just the wrong, for me, the wrong way to lead into this DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Let's push on to This Week in History and jump into that segment.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right. We really don't have much in this segment this week either.
We jumped through quite a few decades.
We're jumping all the way to 1973 with 100-page super spectacular DC 18, which is a mouthful. But this is a fun reprint book that not only has Clark Kent Super Soldier and the amazing story of Superman Red and Superman Blue, but you can read Dan, TNT and Dan, The Atom, Captain Triumph, and The Hour Man. Can you say we were just filling this 50-cent book with reprints that we don't have to pay new people for? Yes, you can. We also had Legion of Superheroes #4, which has Superboy right on the cover. If I'm remembering correctly, I think this is a reprint book. And then Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, #132, which is wow, that's subtle, Lois. Miss Are Lois Lane and Superman finished? That's a great cover. I like
Lois
that.
doesn't know it, but I picked her husband. Arranged marriage.
Yeah, that's really progressive and forward thinking of you, Superman. 1983, we have DC Comics Presents Annual #2. This is the comic book introduction of Superwoman, Kristen Wells. Kristen Wells was actually a character from Miracle Monday, the Elliot S. Magan novel. And it's one of those things where she comes to the past to find out who Superwoman is, and it turns out it was her. Those are fun time travel stories.
Spoiler alert.
We also, this thing it's literally 40 years old, Steve.
I know.
Superman number 385. This is continuing on from the story from Action Comics #544. This is the Superman Lex Luthor, where Luthor got the power armor, the Clash of '83, with a really good Gil King cover. 1993, we actually have a comic to talk about for 1993, and it's a big one. Adventures of Superman #500. Depending on how you want to look at it, the final chapter of Funeral for a Friend or the prologue to Reign of the Superman. It came in 2 flavors. There was a bagged edition that was sold at comic shops that had 8 extra pages that were 1-page splashes that were really cool. Or you had this cover, which was the standard cover that was missing that, but I actually really like that cover. It's a good Tom Grummett cover. So, but yeah, this thing, this is the book that many people consider to be what crashed the comic book industry, and those people are partially wrong. You're leaving a lot out, is what I'm saying. 2003, we have Adventures of Superman #615. We're continuing the Joe Casey post-Triangle run, where the stories got weirder and weirder. Got to go back and revisit that at some point. And we had Superman and Batman Generations 3, #4, in the 23rd century. So it's Star Trek original series. And then in 2013, all we had was Superboy 19. I think this is the issue where it revealed that he is the clone of the son of Superman from the future. And when I heard that, I'm like, that sounds like an X-Men writer came up with that. And look, it's Scott Lobdell writing the issue. So there you go. In the real world, on April 10th, Kyler Lee Potts was born in 1982. I was recently reminded that she was actually in the movie Not Another Teen Movie as the Molly Ringwald type character who was the love interest for Chris Evans, which will never not be funny. And because of that, she was in a Marilyn Manson video for his cover of Tainted Love. And on April 14th, John Shea, in my top 3 of Lex Luthors of all time, was born in 1949. And 10 years later, Mark Pillow, who was the Nuclear Man in Superman 4, and I've heard him interviewed a lot recently. He's actually got a lot to say about the movie. For a man who just growled and was voiced over by Gene Hackman, it's really interesting hearing his actual voice.
There you go.
But yes, he was born in 1989, and that is history.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And we jump into the comic book side of things, and we bring in our good friend Mark Lax for a very brief stint of tonight's show because we're running close to time. But welcome, Mark. How are you?
Hey, Good, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. Jumping into this week's comic books, which one of them is actually one that you reviewed, Mark? We've got...
Yes.
First up, we've got Multiversity. Harley screws up the DCU #2, and the reason I mention that is because one of the variant covers is this one, which has got 10 tons of kryptonite sitting right over Superman as he races the Flash. Obviously, a kind of a homage to an old cover. We've got Superman Lost #2, the second issue of the 10-issue miniseries. Is out this week, and there's a couple of nice variant covers available for this one. And then we've also got the trade paperback of Superman Son of Kal-El, Volume 1, The Truth. And Mark, your review of Superman Lost #2 is up on the site tomorrow morning. Not a great rating from you.
No. After the book comes out, whenever I'm on again, I could discuss it. But it's just not what I thought it would be. I mean, it's only been 2 issues. I know it's a 10-issue series, but so far, just not catching on with me.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And I wanted to get your opinion, both of you, on this this statue, this diorama, Superman and Lois Lane. This is from Sideshow Collectibles. This is a preview of this upcoming diorama. It's a must-have.
I love it. I don't know. It's really depending on price whether or not I get it. But this is like one of the few ones that I was really looking at going, yeah, I really need that. That's adorable.
No, it looks great, but I'm sure it's going to be very hefty for the wallet. But I could be wrong.
Could be, but it's an awesome statue. It looks really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what the kind of the value of that one is. But we'll have to let you go there, Mark. We've come to the end of our show for tonight.
Okay.
But thank you for short but sweet.
Yep, short but sweet. Very good.
Thanks, Mark. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.
That was Mark Lax. Thank you for popping in. And that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage Live. I want to thank Mark for popping in. I want to thank all the people who joined us for this last hour. Dyna Guy, Mike Zumo, Nostalgic Pod Blast, Mind the Gap. Who else we've got? John Patrick Van Pelt. So many others that have been part of the conversations happening in the comments on there on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you to you, my co-host, Michael Bailey. Thank you, Mike.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
Michael and I will be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time on April 17th for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. Hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. Thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And as I said, Michael and I will be back next week. We look forward to that. Get out and see Superman the movie if it's showing at a theatre near you for its 45th anniversary and for the character's 85th anniversary. This time next week, we'll be talking about Superman's 85th anniversary, celebrating that next week. So looking forward to all that. But for now, I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Good night.